Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. We got a lot of facts to talk about today. So, the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys go out, and you're not going to probably hear this from anyone else. And maybe you will. But I haven't seen it in the headlines yet. The Dallas Cowboys absolutely gave this game away. They absolutely gave this game away. This game was right there for the taking for the Dallas Cowboys. Right there for the taking. What's going on, Niecy? I figured you'd be at work by this time. You must be on your lunch break or something. The Dallas Cowboys. What's going on, Maurice? They absolutely gave this game away. And this San Francisco 49er game is really the epitome. It is the epitome of the Dallas Cowboys season. It's the epitome of it. I mean, I didn't really know what I was watching last night. I literally thought I was watching Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It was like I was watching two different football teams on the football field. I was watching two different offensive coordinators calling plays in this game. It was like I was watching two different teams on both offense and defense playing this game. The Dallas Cowboys, and today I'll be in X's and O's this evening. But this lunchtime, this is really going to be more of a reaction, and not an overreaction, but a reaction. And I think the Cowboys, what we're not thinking about and talking about, is the Cowboys actually needs to be examined psychologically. We started talking about this last week when they were talking about these distractions and all of these things. But I don't think those things are the distractions. You can't tell me that someone walking through the training facility, knocking on a window, caused what we saw last night. That can't cause what we saw last night. And so I got a few notes here. I want to look at what happened last night as with this Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde football team. So I actually don't have this first, but let me put this down first. I kind of got a little list here. So one of the first things that absolutely blew my mind, y'all tell me if this shocked y'all, that Ezekiel Elliott was the starting running back. Dalvin Cook was the second running back. And Rico Dowdle was a scratch. Y'all got to help me out. How is the best running back against the San Francisco 49ers? How is the best running back on the team? How is the best running back not starting? Y'all help me out. I'm missing something. You can't tell me, and you can't tell me. Maybe you know better than me. If Mike McCarthy made that call, which I doubt Mike McCarthy made that call, there is no way Mike McCarthy and this offense, this Brian Schottenheimer and Mike McCarthy, this offensive coaching staff, there is no way someone can tell me they sat down in a room and said the best running back on this team is Ezekiel Elliott. And if you're telling me that all of a sudden when we want to bring Dalvin Cook up from the practice squad, we want to bring Dalvin Cook, we want to put him on the 53-man roster, we say we're going to turn him loose, and Rico Dowdle conveniently, might I add, he conveniently comes down with an illness. Y'all tell me what the illness was. Because this is one of the strangest things. And it's not strange. This is Dallas Cowboy stuff. This is Jerry Jones stuff. See, I'm not mad at Jerry Jones about these star tours. That's not my problem. I don't have a problem with that. That's business. But what I have a problem with is when Jerry Jones, the owner, is Jerry Jones, the GM. And Jerry Jones, the GM, seems to be making calls to say, let's bring up Dalvin Cook, but we're not sitting Ezekiel Elliott. That was the first egregious call of the night. And I'm telling you, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Rico Dowdle mysteriously comes down with an illness that no one had heard about the whole week. Nixie said, I knew Mike would not commit to the run game after he helped score the TD. I'm telling you something, Nixie. I'm starting to wonder. People can say anything they want to say, but it seems to me that there is some kind of conspiracy going on, that the Dallas Cowboys may not want to win football games because they want to get higher in the draft. This is weird to me because I want to get back to that run game let's talk about this run game. You know what I found to be strange, Nisi? If we look at all the scoring drives, they ran the football. They ran the football on the scoring drives. You want to know where they struggled? When Mike McCarthy decided to go away from the running game. This is why I said Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Let's go there since Nisi brought this up. So there were two pivotal moments in the game. There are two pivotal moments. Murray said Zeke is in bed with Jerry. You know what? I don't know what's going on. He must got some explicit photos of Jerry Jones that nobody knows about, because I don't understand. How does this man get to be the starter? Jerry Jones and Zeke have a very good relationship, and Jerry Jones feels committed to people, so Jerry made that call. That is not a Mike McCarthy call. Y'all want to know why Mike McCarthy still has a job this morning? Mike McCarthy still has a job this morning. And who knows, it could come across the wire that Jerry's going to fire him. But I don't think it's going to come across the wire, because Jerry already foreshadowed. He regretted firing Wade Phillips at 1-7. So why would he now fire Mike McCarthy at 3-4? Y'all better, I'm telling y'all better brace yourself. I will not be surprised if Jerry Jones brings Mike McCarthy back, but just takes the play calling away from him. I will not be surprised, because Mike McCarthy, if y'all are not realizing it, Mike McCarthy fits everything that Jerry Jones, the GM, wants to do: control the team, because no one can convince me otherwise. There is no way that Ezekiel Elliott and conveniently Rico Dowdle is an unhealthy scratch. You can't convince me. Nisi said Dak and Mike need to tell Zeke stop crying to Jerry. You aren't productive. Dowdle is. Now get to the back of the line. He's the worst running back on the team. He didn't look sick on the sideline signing autographs last night. Rico Dowdle knows what's going on. Rico Dowdle knows what's going on. This is absolutely insane. But watch this part. I can't even fully hate on the Ezekiel Elliott move because Ezekiel Elliott, I mean, for all intent and purposes, he didn't look like absolute trash. He was kind of moving the ball. Dalvin Cook was kind of moving the ball. But watch this. Do y'all understand this? Dak Prescott doesn't need a dominant running game. Dak Prescott just needs a running game. He just needs a running game. It doesn't have to be dominant. He just needs something so with that raggedy offensive line that he has, that you can at least give some element of, okay, we might run the ball right here. You could look at the way the Cowboys were lining up on certain plays because even the 49ers were stacking the box on first down. Even the 49ers knew when the Dallas Cowboys were going to run the ball. It was absolutely pathetic. But in all of that being absolutely pathetic, the run game was absolutely helping the Dallas Cowboys offense. I mean, you think about this. And this all comes down to the running game. And we'll circle back to this, I'm sure. So I can remember two pivotal moments in this football game. There were two pivotal moments in this football game. And the pivotal moment in the football game was we're getting ready to go into the locker room in the the first half. The Dallas Cowboys get the ball. The Dallas Cowboys get the ball, and I'm thinking there is about a minute and a half left on the clock. There's a minute and a half left on the clock. And what does Mike McCarthy do? They have plenty of time left on the clock. And the one thing you want to make sure you do, you want to make sure before you go in at the half, you want to make sure that you don't leave any time on the clock for the San Francisco 49ers in case you don't score. Number two, you at least want to make San Francisco burn some of their timeouts, whether it be one or two of those. They need to burn those timeouts. And number three, because you got so much time, you can still run the football. And do y'all know what happened? The Cowboys were actually up 10-6, getting ready to go into the half. The Cowboys get the football with ample opportunity. The defense, they make a tremendous stand. And they hold the San Francisco 49ers to, if you would have told me the Cowboys hold the San Francisco 49ers to 6 points in the first half, we won that game. We won that. I'm telling you, we won that game. And you know what? We're going to get to the third quarter in a moment, and we'll talk more about those X's and O's in the evening discussion. But for this lunch discussion, the defense, what else do we want them to do? Somebody tell me, what else did we want them to do? They did everything we asked them to do. They held the San Francisco 49ers to 6 points. To 6 points in the first half, and did a decent job against that running game. I mean, what else could we ask for? We're looking pretty good, 10-6. And we get the ball and we go 3 and out. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The running game is working. The running game is working. And did y'all notice in those running drives? Did y'all notice how creative Mike McCarthy was being? Did you notice on the drives where they're running? Did you notice he's running the rub routes? Did you notice he's running the motion? Did we notice that, okay, Dr. Jekyll is not using the running game, but Mr. Hyde is running the run. He's using the running game. How do you have a minute and a half and you're not thinking clock management? This has been one of the biggest knocks on Mike McCarthy. What is going on with this man's head? I don't even coach football, and I understand. One of the things I gathered from Bill Belichick during the Tom Brady days was situational football. You have to practice situational football. You have to sit down, because Mike McCarthy kills me, y'all. And I'm going to read some comments here in just a second. Mike McCarthy kills me because he loves to talk about analytics. So are you not checking the analytics on situational football, Mike McCarthy? Do you not ever create situations and go, okay, team, we have a minute and 45 seconds to go. The situation is we're at the end of the first half, a minute and 45 seconds to go. We got the ball on our own 30-yard line. So we have 3 goals here in mind. 3 goals here in mind. We have the lead, or maybe we're down by 3. We have 3 goals in mind. First thing we're going to do, we're going to make sure we're going to use the clock. That's number 1. Number 2, we have to make the opposing team burn their timeouts. So we're at least going to run the ball either on second down, first down, probably second down, but we're going to run the ball either on first or second down. We're going to see how much yards we have to go for the first down, but either way, we're going to make them burn their timeouts. And I'll take you one even further. You want to really play it safe? Hey guys, we want to make sure the other thing we don't do is we don't make a crucial mistake. We don't make a crucial mistake either before the half is up or at the end of the game. So in order for us not to make that crucial mistake, I'll tell you what else we'll do. Maybe we'll run the ball on first and second down. We'll run the ball on first and second down. And then we'll see if it's a third and short. We'll throw the ball. But whatever we do, we're going to make them use their timeouts. And if we come down to a third and long, we'll run the ball again a third time. And then they'll have all 3 of their timeouts burn out. And then we can let the clock run out. We'll punt the ball to them. There's probably no way they're going to have more than 30 seconds to go on that clock. Probably less. That's situational football. Understand the situation you're in. Let those plays dictate how you continue to proceed. You mess around on that first run on the first down, you mess around, you get 9 yards. Okay, tell you what we're going to do. It's 2nd and 1. Right here, we're going to take a shot. We'll take a shot right here. We'll take one shot, Kevontae Turpin, straight down the sideline. We'll take a shot. If we get it, we get it. If we don't, we don't. We come back, it's 3rd and 1, and we'll get that 1 yard. I don't understand for a person who plays analytics, according to Mike McCarthy, got GPS on his players and always talking about this analytic and that thing and this. How is he not taking advantage of this stuff? I mean, I'm thinking of this stuff right here on the fly. I don't even have any notes in front of me as it applies to that. I just understand something. Situational football. I need to always understand what the situation is. I'm up 10-6. The one thing I want to do, if I can do it, let me tell y'all something. The Cowboys, I really thought, y'all tell me what y'all think. I'm about to read some comments. You know what I thought when the Cowboys got that ball? With a minute and a half to go, they're up 10-6 in the second quarter. I said right then, if the Cowboys score a touchdown right here, game over. Game over. This is exactly what you want. You want to be up on the 49ers, 17-6, and now you can make Brock Purdy. Now you can make them. Now you can make Brock Purdy beat you. But they couldn't make Brock Purdy beat him because the running game was still effective. The running game was still somewhat effective. And what happened is, I think that team lost confidence in that first half. And then when they came out in that second quarter, San Francisco put the foots in them. They put that run game on them, including Brock Purdy. Including Brock Purdy. It was insane to me when you think about it. Didn't I tell y'all? Didn't I tell y'all? I told you Kyle Shanahan was going to unleash this Garrido guy on the Cowboys, and that's exactly what he did. Do y'all realize he only had 14 carries and 85 yards? Let that sink in. He had 14 carries, 85 yards. He was eating on the Cowboys. But you know who really ate on the Cowboys in the run game? Brock Purdy was 8 for 56. Tell me that's not insane. 8 for 56. I come from a different era. You wish quarterbacks would run. If quarterbacks ran in the era that I come from, they going off the field on the stretcher. Brock Purdy wasn't even sliding on the Cowboys. I mean, Brock Purdy was literally putting his shoulders down on the Cowboys on some of them. I'm like, this is Brock Purdy putting his shoulders down on the Cowboys. He was 8 for 56. He destroyed them. 7 yards per carry by Brock Purdy. His longest was 16. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. Pearsall ran 39 yards on 1 carry. By this time, the Cowboys are already starting to get wore down. They did a great job in the first half. But at the end of the day, for me, I don't understand what anybody else wanted them to do. I'm not complaining about the Cowboys defense. They let it go in the third. But I'm going to tell you this. The reason why they let it go in the third is that Mike McCarthy gave up a golden opportunity in the first half at the end of the second quarter. If you go up on the San Francisco 49ers 17-6, that game looks totally different. See, now Mike Zimmer can really do some things on defense. Now he can really get exotic. Now he can really turn some things loose because they're going to have to drop back with Brock Purdy now. You're up 17-6. That's the ball game to me. That is absolutely the ball game. But what do? 3 and out. 3 and out. Crazy. Maurice said Dak needs to start using his legs again. There was an opportunity throughout the game when there's an open field that he could have ran the ball. Brock Purdy took advantage of the opportunity and ran. So let me give you a difference in Brock Purdy and Dak Prescott, what's going on right now, Maurice. I agree with you that Dak probably had a couple of times, especially on those read options, I think Dak probably could have took it and made 15, 20 yards. Let me tell you what's going on with Dak Prescott. I got a whole discussion on this because I got a whole discussion on Dak Prescott. I got a whole discussion on Dak. But you're looking at two different situations. Dak Prescott has already got the bag. Brock Purdy trying to get the bag. Dak Prescott's job is secure. There's nothing they can do. I mean, you can cut him if you want to, but the cap hit's going to be massive. And then he's going to be like Russell Wilson. He can go play somewhere for $1 and you're going to be paying him $230 million. So, Dak, you're talking about two different mindsets. Brock Purdy is saying, we've already been hearing Kyle Shanahan is on his neck. Man, you better win these games. Because if you're not taking us back to the NFC Championship game, we're going to be looking in the offseason to see what's available out there. And so what we're watching, I think, with Dak Prescott is we're watching somebody who's trying to just stay healthy this season. Because he knows that this season, from all points and purposes, I mean, when we look at this season, I mean, it looks very bleak right now. You're 3-4. You're way behind in this division now. Washington pulls off an insane win with a Hail Mary. They're now 6-2. The Philadelphia Eagles beats the Cincinnati Bengals. They're now 5-2. We're not really worried about the Giants because the Giants, they don't care. They're just trying to, play and see what they got and go into the draft, which seems like I'm starting to wonder if that's what we're doing. But you're literally now 3 games behind Washington. 3 games behind Washington. That's crazy. That's crazy to be 3 games behind Washington. That means that you're going to have to not only sweep the division, not only will you have to sweep the division, you're going to have to win some of these games that people are saying you can't win. We'll talk about, I guess, maybe towards the end of the week, kind of what the Cowboys might look like the next 5 games. But right now, woo, man, they're way behind. And then it makes me wonder, is this a part of Jerry Jones' plan? Because, you know, me and my son was discussing it this morning, and I didn't quite understand it because my son was saying he thinks the Cowboys may be tanking to get a high draft pick. So what are you tanking to get a high draft pick for? You typically only do that for quarterbacks. I don't know of any offensive linemen that everyone is talking about. Y'all tell me. Throw it in the chat. Is there is there an offensive line or offensive lineman that everybody is after? There's no way we're getting Travis Hunter, and why would we? We don't need Travis Hunter. I mean, it would be great. I mean, I don't know if Travis Hunter is actually going to go to the pros as a wide receiver. I won't be surprised if Travis Hunter is going to go to a team and play cornerback for sure, because he's kind of like a lockdown cornerback. And I don't think the Dallas Cowboys, because if we were going to use a cornerback, a wide receiver, well, we got one already, and his name is Trayvon Diggs. Because Trayvon Diggs, if I'm not mistaken, used to be a wide receiver, and he switched to corner. And Trayvon Diggs has actually got some hands. Trayvon Diggs got some hands. So if you're going to do that with Travis Hunter, you could already be doing that with Trayvon Diggs. But what would be the point of tanking? But for whatever odd reason, it doesn't seem like they want to win. And that seems to be coming from up top. What's going on? What's going on, Gregory? Gregory said, good morning, sir. It feels like the Cowboys are still in last year's playoffs. They're stuck in the mud. And Jerry didn't help them any. What's going on, Roger? Appreciate them stars. You know what? Jerry didn't help him any by not doing anything in free agency, by not bringing on any play. And he said he's already not going to do anything in the trade. Bench, Hooker, and Dono. Woo, man, Nisi. You want to talk about terrible safety play? My son used to play safety. And boy, he was clowning the Cowboys on that safety play last night. I couldn't agree with him more. My son was pointing out, he said, have you noticed, Dad, what the safeties do for the Dallas Cowboys? They don't run into the hole. They wait at the end of it for the running back to run to them. These men making business decisions. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. So it's crazy. So there's something going on with the Cowboys. And I think it's coming from the top down with Jerry Jones. And I think this is one of the reasons why Jerry is not so concerned about what's going on. Dak needs to tell Mike, I'm not Air Jordan. I wear them. Exactly. Did y'all notice something I told you last week? Did y'all notice something? In case some of y'all are new, but I said this last week. Did y'all notice that the Dallas Cow, every time there's an interception to be thrown, you ever notice who throw it? I mean, you ever notice what direction it's going in? It seems to always be Dak Prescott forcing the ball to CeeDee Lamb. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Why do the Cowboys keep forcing the ball to CeeDee Lamb? Why? I don't understand why Dak is doing it. The interception that Dak threw to Cavante Turpin, I actually believe that was a good throw. Some may disagree. I think that was a good throw because even though the safety is coming over, you notice he was able to cut under. But what Dak was trying to do was throw that ball over the top because I don't think if it's over the top, Cavante Turpin has already beat the corner. If that ball is over the top, that safety don't get there. And if he does, it's going to be a contested it's going to be a contested catch. And so I don't think that was a bad throw. What happened is that Bosa got to Dak Prescott, and if you notice, Dak jumped and tried to throw it, and he couldn't step into it. So I wasn't tripping. I wasn't tripping on that particular throw. But the one that did aggravate me was the one when Dak Prescott is running up the sideline, or he's rolled out to his left. CeeDee Lamb is running up the left sideline. Why did Dak throw that ball? Why does Dak Prescott throw that ball? That was, to me, the dumbest throw that Dak Prescott made last night. It was absolutely dumb. And I understand. Dak, man, y'all got to understand. Dak is playing with one hand tied behind his back. Dak is playing with one hand tied behind his back. Dak is out there throwing some of these passes, and it's almost like to me he's saying, I don't give a doggone. Because that pass to CeeDee Lamb should not have been thrown. That was terrible on Dak's part. And I'm telling y'all, I'm just being 100% honest. I'm putting that third quarter, I'm putting that on Dak Prescott. I'm putting a part of that third quarter on Dak Prescott. Because they don't make that run in that third quarter if Dak Prescott doesn't throw that dumb interception. And when Dak makes that dumb interception, it lets all the air. It seemed to let all the air out of the defense because they had been doing a fabulous job. They had been doing a fabulous job up until that point. And then you're going to sit there and you're going to throw that interception when they got the game as close as they have it. I'm telling us, to even be 10-6 at the half, I thought, man, this is a great opportunity. The Cowboys got a great opportunity to win this game. That interception was dumb. That's on Dak. That's on Dak. Shame on you, Dak. That was absolutely dumb. Absolutely dumb. And Mike McCarthy should have got on Dak Prescott. And the thing that ticks me off is that Dak Prescott is making freaking mistakes and we're acting like that he's the $60 million man, so no one gets to go and talk to Dak Prescott when he throws an interception. No way. My son George, he asked me, he said, because I was talking about the fact that why does Dak Prescott always on the bench looking at this thing by himself? Hold on just a second. Somebody messaged me. Just give me just a second. So that's on Dak Prescott. That's on Dak Prescott. And I don't understand. My son is like, Dak is over there looking at the tablet. He said, but why is Mike McCarthy still on the sideline looking at the game while Dak is looking at the tablet? What does he do on defense that he got to be looking at the game? Y'all help me. What is Mike McCarthy looking at the defensive side of the game for? Get your butt on that sideline, Mike McCarthy, and sit beside Dak Prescott, even if it's 2 minutes, and say, Dak, one, you can't do that. Now let's look at this tablet and see where you made the mistake. And don't do this again. But you know who's calling those dumb plays? The same one that won't go sit on the sideline when Dak Prescott makes those mistakes. It's Mike McCarthy. Dumb plays. How do we get in the red zone? And Mike McCarthy will throw the ball. I mean, he'll throw the ball 3 straight times. What are you doing, Mike McCarthy? Run the ball. Dalvin Cook. I mean, I don't know about y'all. Y'all help me out. I thought Dalvin Cook looked pretty good. I thought he looked pretty good. I think we didn't let him do what his strength is. We didn't let him run to the outside. I don't understand it. But what in the world is Mike McCarthy doing? Mike McCarthy should have been over there at the bench. Don't let Brian Schottenheimer do it. He's not calling the plays. You are, Mike. What are you watching the defense for? What, you gonna tell Mike Zimmer what to do? Get your butt over there on that bench and you help be the eyes of Dak Prescott. And you tell him, okay, right here. Not just even on the interception. Okay, wait a minute, hold on a second. See right there, Dak, you could have got Tolbert right there. You could have, whatever the case, whoever you could have got. Mike McCarthy is not only the head coach, he's the play caller. He needs to be over there on that tablet. And then we saw later on in the game, there's Cooper Rush, there's Trey Lance, and there's Brian Schottenheimer. Should have been doing that the whole season. But I dare say that should be Mike McCarthy over there, because what is he bringing to the defense? I told you, Nancy, I was explaining it earlier. People got to understand something. Dak Prescott is making, in my opinion, I think Dak Prescott is making some business decisions. Dak is saying something. I'm not breaking my neck for this team. I'm not breaking my neck for this team. When it seems like that this team is set up to fail. I'm gonna bring that in at the end. I'm gonna tell you some things about Dak Prescott. I heard someone today say they think that Dak is regressing. You're not understanding what you're seeing. You're not understanding what you're seeing. But I'm gonna show you what you're seeing, even though you may not realize it. I'm gonna show everybody what they're seeing and not understanding. But Dak Prescott's got to stop those turnovers. And Mike McCarthy needs to get over there because he needs to tell him to stop forcing the ball to CD Lamb. Stop doing it. And what we noticed yesterday is what really opened it up for CD Lamb was the running game. I don't understand it. We're looking at Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It was like we were watching two different teams last night. It's like it's Dr. Jekyll when we're playing terrible. But it's Mr. Hyde when it looks like we're about to put foots in them and win the game. I mean, we're killing them out there. We're running the ball. The plays look good. Dak's looking good. He's looking confident, just rolling on down the field. And then it's like someone says, ooh, we want to make it look good, but hold on. We don't necessarily want to win. Watch this. Nisi just mentioned it. Let's not do what's winning the game for us when it's time to win the game. The run game is what's been helping us get all the touchdowns. Oh, wait a minute. This touchdown will make us win the game. Stop running the ball. Something's wrong here, y'all. I'm telling y'all, something is wrong here, and it absolutely stinks. It stinks. Something's going on. Carl says, I thought so too, bro, G. You right, Mike. You right. You right, Mike. Something's wrong. Something's wrong, Carl. Something's wrong. And I think there's a reason why. Mike McCarthy is not fired because Jerry is a part of this nonsense. I'm not going to pay attention to the NFL. I go about my life. Hopefully things change for the best when I'm not watching. At the end of the day, it's just fun. It's football. It's football. And, we're watching one of the greatest dramas in the world. One of the greatest dramas in the world, Buddha. This is why people love football. I mean, we got a soap opera going here. Carl says, gee, what Mike trying to prove? Damn, he know it's probably his last year. Why do dumb stuff? Carl, this seems planned to me. This literally seems planned. You can't make this up. How was this two different teams we were watching last night? When they're running the ball, they didn't even have to be dominant running the ball. It just opened up the offense. It just opened up the offense, period. This is crazy, y'all. I'm telling y'all. They did not need dominant running. You think about this. So Ezekiel Elliott was 10 for 34 and a touchdown. His longest run was 11 yards. It was effective enough. Dalvin Cook, 6 for 12. Effective enough. Turpin, 1 for 11. Lipke. I didn't understand what we were doing with Lipke last night, but okay. And y'all can forget about Dak Prescott running. I'm just telling you. And you got to ask yourself, are you running the ball on this team? I mean, are you running the ball with this team? Are you running the ball when it seems like the fix is in and nobody wants to really win? The fix is in. Are you going to break your neck when it don't seem like the team wants to win anyway? Dak is making business decisions. Dak is saying, I'm going to remain standing up for the rest of the season so I can be healthy going into the next season. Because I think that next season, that whatever Jerry Jones does, Jerry seems to have this grand plan from what I can tell, that he's going to bring in a new coach. Maybe he'll bring in a couple of new pieces. Maybe he'll do a couple of things that's going to help the team. I don't know. Jerry seems to have a plan for next year. And so, to me, I don't know. I mean, you got to ask yourself. I mean, you're Dak Prescott. What are you going to do? Are you going to go out here and break your neck when you know that it seems like, because Dak has to be seeing what's going on. Dak, if y'all don't realize something, Dak is a great play caller. We watched him last year in the preseason, I think it was a year before last, and he called plays for one Ben DiNucci. And Ben DiNucci, I don't know if it was Ben DiNucci, but it was the third string quarterback. But Dak called the game so good, this guy had the best preseason of any quarterback in the league that year. Got him a job with the New England Patriots. If y'all don't think Dak understands plays, you don't know what you're looking at, because Dak does understand how to call plays. He can read defenses. I think Dak may understand situations better than Mike McCarthy. But what is he going to do? Go rogue? Is he going to audible out of every play Mike McCarthy called? And then with this offensive line that he has, I mean, I just don't know. But I'm telling you, Dak is making business decisions. 56 yards rushing for an entire game. Purdy had 56 rushing alone. But you know what's crazy, Buddha? We could have had more than 56. When the run game was working, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. Dak Prescott does not need a dominant running game. Doesn't need a dominant running game. He just needs a consistent running game. He just needs for Mike McCarthy to commit to the run. And committing to the run doesn't mean we're going to run for 150 yards today. Committing to the run is saying we're going to continue to run to at least keep that element of surprise there, or not let them tee off on Dak Prescott knowing that this offensive line is terrible. The Cowboys cannot afford for Dak Prescott to drop back 40 times, because if he drops back 40 times, it's going to be a recipe for disaster. All they got is to go on a run. That's it. At this point, that's it. There's nothing else. The Cowboys have got to rattle off 5 or 6 games in a row. There's no room. There's no margin for error. There's no margin for error left. Why tank if you aren't doing anything better to the team? That's the part that's confusing. Because you signed your quarterback. What are you tanking for? What are you going to try to get? Because there's no way you're going to draft a quarterback in the first round, in the first 5 rounds. I mean, let's say you get in the top 10, you draft a quarterback. He's sitting about 4 years behind Dak Prescott. I don't understand it. No one tanks for running backs. I haven't heard about any offensive linemen that anyone is talking about. I haven't heard about any draft prospects other than maybe quarterbacks that anyone is talking about. So it doesn't make sense. Got Dak out there trying to play Superman with little to no talent besides CD and Cooks. And Cooks not even there. It's crazy, Buddha. And that's why I'm saying, I think he is really saying, I'm not doing that. I think Dak is saying it. I'm not going out here and break my leg. Now, we were acting like we were truly trying to win. And you know what, Buddha? Let's take it even here. Something isn't right. Because I think the Cowboys could have won that game last night. They gave it away. You're up 10-6 in the second quarter. And you go out there with a minute and a half to go and you don't run the ball one time. Do y'all realize that they were literally punting the ball and left a minute on the clock? How do you do that? Terrible coaching. Terrible coaching. Buddha's Jay Recruiter says Jerry is too old to think about tanking. Weird season in Dallas. Jay, I can't make sense of what's going on. I can't make sense of what's going on. But there is something going on. Because there is no way the Cowboys lose that game last night unless they want to. It's like they wanted to lose it. Y'all explain to me. So the last drive, you get to score to 30-24. You literally have 3 minutes left on the clock. Not 30 seconds, 3 minutes left on the clock. You throw the football 3 straight times? Cowboy fans, I'm about to go in my bag on that drive. If I'm Mike McCarthy, I'm about to go in my bag on that drive. Hey, man, this the drive. Hey, y'all talking about Dak Prescott running? That's the drive I'm running them on right there. Dak, we've been noticing the whole game. We've been looking at the film. That read option, it's there. It's there. We think you can get that to the outside, cut it in if you can, slide the moment you see some contact coming. But we've been watching it. We got it right here. Right here. That game was there for the taking. The Cowboys literally had the 49ers on the rope. They had the 49ers on the rope. You could see the 49ers staggering. And the Cowboys had the opportunity, with 3 minutes to go, they had the opportunity somewhere around 3.5 minutes to put together a drive. That even if you get in there and get 3 points and try to get an onside kick, they had an opportunity. I don't understand that last drive. It made absolutely no sense. It was utter nonsense. It was the epitome of somebody throwing away a football game. They gave it away. Somebody needs to check on what's going on in Dallas. I don't care what anyone says. That's crazy to me. And I can't believe. Y'all gonna have to help me. I can't believe. I just can't believe Mike McCarthy is that dumb. I can't believe it. I refuse to believe it. That I'm sitting here with a YouTube channel and I'm smarter than Mike McCarthy. There's no way. We're all here. We're all talking about some of the same things. You can't tell me that we're smarter than Mike McCarthy. As he said, he's out there watching the tape. He's out there in the practices. He's out there in the games. Mike, that's crazy to me. It's a battle of two old stubborn minds, Mike and Jerry. Man, I'm gonna tell you something, Carl. Man, I don't know. It's like this is some backroom boardroom talk going on. Like Jerry and Mike is sitting there saying, "Hey, man, don't win these games." It's like somebody done said, "Don't win these games." We're watching Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Why is it that we, in the Pittsburgh game, we did everything right, and then the next week, Mike went back to stale old offense? Then this week, we come out against the 49ers. Now we see the Pittsburgh game and the Detroit game in one game. We got the Pittsburgh game when we scoring touchdowns, and it looked like we're trying to win, and then we got the Detroit game when it looked like we're not trying to win. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. What is going on? It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Buddha says should have technically thrown it to CD over Turpin. The first interception. CD was open, etc., but I'm not a pro NFL player coach. It's almost like to me that Dak is doing something that I haven't seen him do in a long time. He's predetermining where he's going to throw the football on certain plays. It's like Dak is saying, forget reading the defense. I know exactly where I'm going on this play. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Good point, G. The offense is not playing to the players' strengths. They could have won that game last night. And I'm agreeing. Dak don't have the players. But that is not why they lost that game last night. That is not why they lost that game. The Cowboys, I'm telling y'all, it needs to be studied. It seemed like they almost threw that game last night. It's like they threw it. Chris Collinsworth said something after the first touchdown the Cowboys scored when they made it 27-17, I believe it is. 27-17, or either it was 30-17. And he says, well, this defense, they're kind of playing a semi-prevent defense, so they're just trying to get out of here. They were not playing that same defense on that second touchdown. No, the Cowboys came back down determined, play calling creative. I'm watching motion, running the ball right in that end zone. No problem. No problem. CeeDee Lamb 8 in the fourth quarter. And I believe CeeDee could have did that the whole game. There's something wrong with this team because then they come out. How do they come back out in the last drive and they revert back to who they were when they're not running the ball? The team looks different when they run the ball. No plays for Trace. I don't even understand it. We talking about Trey Lance, I'm dumbfounded on that one. If there's one game I'm playing Trey Lance, it's time to get some get back, bro. It's time to get some get back, Trey Lance. Man, we about to, I hope you don't mind, but we about to line you up at running back. We're going to line you up at wide receiver. We're getting you in this game. You're going to play against this team, and if possible, you're going to be the reason why we beat them. I don't understand it. I don't. G, you right. Dak now not know that Jerry don't care about him. Way back when you thought Jerry had his back, then he saw how Jerry treated him. He said, the hell we're going all the way and get hurt. Dak see what's going on. I'm telling you, we think this man dumb. Dak sees what's going on. And I think this is one of the reasons why Dak ain't putting it on the line. Because I've been watching some of these read option plays, and I'm like, man, if Dak would have took that one, he might would have took it to the crib. Dak said, I'm not taking nothing to the crib for this team. The way that O-line is collapsing, he better start running. He does a lot on the run. He plays really well on the run. And they rolled him out some last night. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. If I got a player like Bosa, I'm rolling away from him. I'm going to roll to him. I'm going to have a tight end, which it was like they couldn't even steal. I don't know what's going on with Steele. I'm sorry. We need to change this man's name to Cotton because Steele not fitting him right now. I don't know what's going on with Steele, but this man must have got a contract, bro. And this man is like making the Cowboys look stupid out there. What up, Jeanette? He got the Cowboys looking stupid out there. Yep, we go roll like Willie Beeman from Any Given Sunday. I don't know what's going on. Something is going on with this team. Carl says, your take is right, G. The brother is stuck between Jerry and Bull and not trying to overrule Mike. Dak is not done. I guarantee you, Mike McCarthy is calling plays and Dak is going, dude, what? Do y'all know that quarterbacks, this is how smart they are. This is not just Dak Prescott. When a play is called, guess what the quarterback knows? He knows where every wide receiver, he knows every route they're running, and he knows everywhere they're supposed to be. And then when he steps to that line, he looks at that defense. He knows the play that he has called. And then he says, okay, he's going to do whatever he does with the pre-snap stuff. He's going to see if he can get some movement going. Then he starts, the line and him, they start communicating a little bit, and they start doing blocking assignments. That's what you're watching the guys on the line when they're pointing here and they're pointing there. And if they'll let you hear it sometimes, you'll hear Dak Prescott say, watch 56, watch 56, watch 58. They're pointing. They're seeing what the adjustments they're doing. Then they go in motion. They see who runs in motion with the wide receiver. Watch this. The quarterback is processing all of that. He's looking at what the coverage is, or what coverage are they showing him as this is all taking place. It's all happening in the quarterback's mind. He's looking for a mismatch. He's looking for, okay, I see the safety came over, so that's going to leave the wide receiver on the left side. That's going to leave him maybe one-on-one. He's looking at all of this play out. I guarantee you Dak Prescott is looking at some of these plays called, knowing the defense they're running, and Dak Prescott himself is saying, what are we doing? This leaves me no options to do A, B, or C. Plus, my line is not good. So I don't really have the time to process this. I'm telling y'all, this is all going through their minds. Dak Prescott is playing with a bad spades hand, y'all, and he knows it. Revelation journalist says, bro, you think of Jerry Jones, think of Roman circus and the definition thereof. I'm telling us, Revelation, something ain't right, man. The Cowboys gave that game away last night. Say what you want about Jason Garrett, but he was a clock milker. I'm telling you. Delton Sr. says, how about a 2-minute offense? Make it make sense, Delton. There's something wrong. The drive at the end of the first half and the drive at the end of the second half. Watch this. Tell me this isn't crazy. Both of those drives determine the football game. The Cowboys go up 17-6. I promise y'all the game is over. The game is over. Because now this game is really going to be in Brock Purdy's hand. But what they did was, did y'all notice how they were killing the Cowboys with that play action? Purdy were killing them with that play action. It was opening up everything for them. Play action, killing them. But if the Cowboys go up 17-6, there's no way. There's no way. Even if they score, it's 17-13. And the Cowboys score again, even if it's a field goal. The Cowboys were in the catbird seat. They were in the catbird seat. They were. They gave that game away. I don't know if anybody else is saying this. I'm not talking about how, you know what? The first interception Dak Prescott threw, no problem. Second interception he threw, boneheaded stupid. Bonehead stupid. Dak is the reason for that flip in momentum in the third quarter. Because all the momentum, the Dallas Cowboys had it. Dak flipped that. Bad throw. Also bad play. Mike McCarthy don't understand situational football. I'm telling y'all, this man is oblivious to situational football. You have got, just look at how Kyle Shanahan was even calling that game. Kyle Shanahan was understanding the score. He was understanding down and distance. He was understanding where his team was in the game. Kyle Shanahan, y'all, called a masterful game. Masterful game. He did. I don't know, man. Well, who can argue with you, Smitty? I mean, I'm not trying to argue with you, but I'll tell you this. There's a difference in sucking because you suck, and there's a difference when you choose to suck. The Cowboys don't suck. They're choosing to suck. That's the problem I have. That game was insanity last night. Dak been doing that. Dak is an automatic two-pick. No, he's not. Forget that. Dak, if you look back at Dak's history, it wasn't until Dak hurt that thumb that he was even having double digits interception. You don't even know what you're talking about, Smitty. And if you look at why Dak is having this interception problem right now, Dak is having this interception problem because for whatever dumb reason, he keeps forcing the ball to CeeDee Lamb in situations where he should not be forcing the ball to CeeDee Lamb. There's a problem on this team, and one of them is coaching. The other one is the GM. Somebody has to say, hey, CD, you get it when you're open, period. End of discussion. Maybe that's it. We're all talking about the last try and how the Cowboys should have ran the ball. Maybe McCarthy expected everybody to think he was going to run the ball, which is why he instead you saying pass the ball. That's why he threw the ball on 3 straight downs, because he knew everybody expected him to run the ball. How? I'm not giving him that one. Let me tell you about the 90s Cowboys, because I understand what Roger was saying. Let me show y'all the 90s Cowboys. Anybody who watched the 90s Cowboys, what people don't understand is they were very predictable. The 90s Cowboys were very predictable. You know what the problem was? They were unstoppable. The 92, 93, 94, 95 Cowboys. They would line up and there was no imagination. They could literally tell you, oh, by the way, we're going to run this ball to the right, right? Oh, and by the way, and you can't stop us. Oh, you know what? We're going to run this ball to the left. By the way, there's nothing you can do to stop us. We're going to run this ball up the middle. By the way, there's nothing you can do to stop us. We're going to pitch it to the right. There's nothing you can do to stop us. The Cowboys team, it wasn't that creative. And Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin ate off of play action. Why? Because they had a supreme running game. And what people don't understand, when you have a supreme running game, all the wrinkles are extra. But if you got a supreme running game, it sets up so many things on offense. Because I'm telling us, this is what the run does. And this is why Mike McCarthy has no excuse. What the run does, it freezes pass rushers. See, Bosa, let me tell y'all about Bosa on that last drive. He wasn't thinking about no run. I don't know, Roderick. Maybe you talking about the people on television. But San Francisco was not thinking run, because if they're looking at Mike McCarthy the whole game, the one thing we know he's not going to do is run the ball. Especially from what all accounts and purposes, he's not going to run the ball during scoring drives, because that's where he was getting them on the scoring drives. So the 49ers on that last drive, guess what they did? Pin back their ears. And we're going for Dak Prescott. Nothing else matters. We're going for Dak Prescott. But when you run the ball, it makes those pass rushers unpin their ears, because now you're going to make them think. Because if I run on first down, now I can say, now this is where what you're saying comes into play, Roger. Surely they're not going to run on second down. And then I run on second down. That's how you get that type of thinking. Or maybe you pass on first down. And then they say, oh, they're not going to run the ball. Guess what you do on second down? You run the ball. This is simple. I'm not a multi-million-dollar coach. This is simple stuff. It's called situational football. Football, it is a game of chess. It's Jimmy and Joes and X's and O's. And when you don't have the Jimmys and Joes, you better be real good at the X's and O's. You got to be playing chess, man. You got to be playing chess. Delton says the analytic crap must be AI generated because I'm thinking the same thing you are thinking. Mike McCarthy, I'm telling y'all, this dude relies a lot on all that dumb stuff. Okay, Dak, if you don't have a run game, then you run. And you know what he's saying? I'm not running for this team, Delton. Dak is saying something. I'm not running for this team. I'm not running for this team. When there's something going on with the play calling, there's something going on upstairs, there's something going on with this team, it doesn't want to win. No. Dak Prescott saying, man, I'm about to get married. I'm not trying to put my life on the line for this team until they do something better. Revelation, Mike wants to get fired while Jerry wants Mike to quit. Mike quits, no old contract. Jerry fires Mike, he's owes his contract. You know what? I'm going to tell you something, Revelation. You might be on to something because you know what? Jerry fired Mike McCarthy. He get to sit on the bench. He get to sit on the couch. And guess what Mike McCarthy would do? Let me tell you what Mike McCarthy would do if the Cowboys fired him this week. Y'all ready for this? Mike McCarthy would be on somebody's television show for the rest of the season talking about the Dallas Cowboys. I promise you. And he wouldn't be talking about them bad. But they would be calling him to analyze games. It wouldn't shock me one bit. We've seen it happen. Coaches get let go. What do? Call them in the booth. Call them in the booth. Call them on those football shows. Mike McCarthy would basically be able to double dip. People would be wanting him on their podcast, wanting him on their show, because they'd be wanting to know what happened. This is crazy. Carl said when the defense got that stop, I said, we got this. But those 3 passing plays, unbelievable. I don't care what anyone says. Zimmer did his job. Because I was thinking last night, this is one of those games that when the Cowboys got up 10-6, I thought at that moment, this is where you need Micah Parsons. When you got a lead, that's when a pass rusher comes in handy. When you got a lead, man, pass rushers eat. Because now you put these teams in passing situations, and they eat. And I was like, man, this is the only place right here. I said, man, if Michael was here, when it's a boneheaded play call, Dak, here we go, is weak and sarcastic. Nisi, I'm telling us, Dak is listening to these plays, and Dak is like, what is this nonsense? And it's almost like Dak is giving up on these plays. There is no reason Dak should be throwing these interceptions. Dak isn't dumb, y'all. I don't find it strange. Why are the majority of these interceptions going toward CD Lamb? Why? It's crazy to me. And I will give Dak Prescott credit. He dropped a dime on Cavante Turpin, man, up that sideline. Dak dropped a dime in there. I mean, there was no better placement of that ball. Cavante Turpin dropped it. Carl said it should have been 17-3 going into the third quarter. I'm telling you, Carl, I literally thought, I knew. I said right here, pivotal moment. Cowboys score a touchdown going into the second half. It's over. It's over. Because now you're going to make Kyle Shanahan change a little bit of his game plan. Because now Kyle Shanahan is saying, oh, hold on a second. We're down by 11. And if they would have been down by 14, hold on a second. We're down by 14. We got to make some adjustments. We got to get back in the game. Because, see, that's where the Cowboys could have really started hitting them with the run. Even if you're not getting 5 and 6 yards, you keep running. You keep milking the clock. You keep that element of surprise to where they can't pin their ears back and say, we're going for the quarterback. It's something is wrong. Michelle says, they got their money for bets. Michelle, I'm going to tell you one of the worst things that happened to the NFL to me. Y'all notice how these people play different? Now that this betting stuff is in these games, they play different. They call games different. It's like they're trying to call games for point spreads. I'm just saying. I see exactly what you're saying. Delta Singer said, man, somebody should have had their foot on Dak's neck regardless of him getting the bag. Delton, why is Mike McCarthy not on the sideline with Dak communicating when he's making these bad throws? When he's making these bad throws, something's not right about that. I'm with you. Because one thing I've learned, if you listen to Dak Prescott, Dak likes to be coached. You ever notice how loyal he is to a coach? Dak likes to be coached. And I don't think he minds being coached hard. I don't think he minds it. But this is the Barry Switzer mentality that came after Jimmy got fired. And so it seems like that every coach that comes in here, they don't really coach hard. I mean, Parcells tried to coach hard, but Parcells couldn't take it because he's like, man, I can't coach hard and you're not giving me no groceries up in here. I mean, I'm not knocking great value, but a brother like me, I don't buy great value. When I'm cooking dishes, man, I'm not trying to get great value. I'm trying to get the stuff that's got the most flavor in it. And not knocking great value. If you want to do great value, that's fine. But when I'm not in the kitchen, I'm not buying great value. And so the moral to the story is when you doing the cooking, then you should be buying the groceries that you want to do the cooking. Bill Parcells said, no, I can't do this, man. I can't do it. You can't have me coaching hard and I can't buy the groceries. And so anybody that comes in here, you don't let them cook. You don't let them do what they're supposed to be doing. Facts. Emmett ran crazy and with a messed up shoulder. Man, them Dallas Cowboys 90s, boy, people don't understand, man. Them dudes could tell you, man, hey, they tell you every play they're going to do. Probably means you couldn't stop it. Lynch, the GM, Shane, the head coach, are both on the same page about NFL winning football. And Lynch does a great job of personnel. Great job of personnel. Great job of listening. And I got to give their ownership credit. Their ownership's listening too. Whatever John Lynch says, whatever Shanahan says, they're all on the same page. They're all on the same page. Delta Singer says, I thought it was me with the safety play. Go get the ball carrier. Man, they played like trash. They played like trash, man. Vernon Russ Webb says, Mahomes has 9 interceptions, Dak has 8. Cowboys can't overcome the bad scheme. And they won't. And they won't. And that's why Dak Prescott's not running the ball, Vern. You're hitting it right on the head. They can't overcome the bad scheme. And I don't understand it. I mean, I'm grasping for straws, like someone mentioned earlier. Maybe Mike trying to get fired because Niecy mentioned it too. I saw the same thing. My wife was saying the same thing. When they were running the ball, they were in control. They were in command. When they didn't run the ball, it looked like the Detroit game. It was crazy. And it seems like it's on purpose. Sunny Days, what's going on? Vern Russ also saw Mahomes has not thrown 1 TD in October. Is that true? If so, guess his better team and coaching is helping. Pat Mahomes is not even playing. I mean, he's not even playing average for Pat Mahomes. He's not even playing average for Pat Mahomes. But his team is so good. His scheme is so good. If you looked at the score and not the box score, you would literally think that Pat Mahomes is having a year out of this world. Nope. Nope. It's the team around him. And without taking anything from him, he's still doing some things. He's still running the ball. I still think that we need to be looking at the NFL because some of them runs that Mahomes is making, I'm like, there is no way that dude should have missed that tackle, but that's a whole nother discussion. But his team is so much better. His team is so much better. The scheme is so much better. The GM is so much better. The head coach is so much better. The defensive coach, I won't say so much better, but he got players. I'm telling this, man, this is crazy. Vegas is all over the NFL with plays and refs. You better ask somebody about that Rams game. They'll do it right in front of our face and make us feel stupid for saying something. Right in front of our face. Yep, true. Come on, G, buy great value coffee now. Hey, man, I do them beans, man. I do those beans. Somebody bought me a coffee maker with a bean grinder on it. Woo, man. I do them beans, brother. Hey, if you want to do it, I ain't knocking you. Because if you making the coffee, you get to buy the coffee. And that's the problem. And the problem is Jerry doing all the buying. And he doing all the telling too. Not the selling, but the telling. Sonny says, seems like it's been that way for Dak since he's been here for the most part. Romo didn't want to help him, and the coaches he has aren't sitting with him on the sidelines during the games. Sunny days, make it make sense. They finally sat with him last night. No cap, what's going on? Didn't I say it too, Cap? I said it too. He was gonna give them a full dose of Garindo. But watch this, no cap. But you also mentioned Pearsall, if that's how his name is pronounced. 1 time 39? Wow. 1 time 39? Wow. But I'm gonna tell y'all, no cap, the unsung hero for the 49ers running the football was Brock Purdy. Those runs that Brock Purdy ran, boy, them the kind that hurt you to your soul, man. Brock Purdy hurt the Cowboys to their soul. Man, them Brock Purdy runs had me ready to run to. I almost ran into the wall on some of them runs because I'm sorry, y'all. I just come from a different era. I come from an era where people said, I wish the quarterback would run. I wish he'd break out of there and try to run for that first down. I bet you he won't run for another one. I'm telling y'all, man, them ones Brock Purdy did, they hurt. Need to bench Dono and Hooker. They suck. Man, them safeties suck, man. Terrible. Terrible. No Cap said the 49ers drafted Isaac Garindo with the pick they got from Dallas. Wow. Wow. They better than me, no cap. Because I'm telling you, Trey Lance hitting that field last night. Trey Lance is hitting that field last night. I would have used him. But it's ironic that you said Garindo was that pick. What's going on, Angie? You said I'm just here so I won't get fired. Hey, somebody mentioned earlier Mike McCarthy trying to get fired. Nisi said, fact, sunny days. Dak has always been treated like the stepchild since he took Romo's job. Let me tell y'all something, boy. Folk hate Dak for that. When we get to the offseason, I plan on doing some things, especially for people who become members. One of the things I'm going to do in the offseason is I'm going to do a lot of historical documentaries on players. And I'm going to do one on Dak Prescott because, see, one of the reasons why people also get so frustrated about Dak Prescott, because in their mind, Dak Prescott is not supposed to be here. If you listen to a lot of people before Dak got drafted, he'll be a career backup. That's what they all said. He won't amount to much. He'll be a career backup. Came out in the first season and took Tony Romo's job. And if anybody knows Dak Prescott history, he did the same thing in high school. Player got hurt. Dak took his spot. Never relinquished it. Playing in Mississippi State, I'm not sure, but I don't think he was the starter starting out. Got the job, never looked back. Came to the pros, Tony Romo got hurt, got the job, Never look back. Dak has been an overachiever all his life, it seems. Freddie says not being a sore loser, but that no call on that illegal pick thrown by that Niner. Oh, yes. Yes, that was crazy, Freddie. That changed the complexity of the game because that probably becomes a field goal rather than a touchdown. That was a terrible call. Terrible call. Yeah, that was terrible. That was terrible. Angie said, why do we have running backs? Might as well not even have them since we don't use them. We're Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Angie. That's what I've been talking about. On the scoring drives, we used them. It's like we decided not to score and we didn't use them. Dak does not need a dominant running game, but he needs a running game. Because if you don't give him a running game, you let these teams tee off on him, and that's what happens. And so, like I said, I brought up this whole thing with Rico Dowdle, and I'm sorry, this Rico Dowdle thing is crazy to me. He's literally the best running back on the team. And out of the blue, you got an illness? The week you bring up Dalvin Cook, why couldn't you say, Zeke, you're not suiting up? You're not suiting up, Zeke. Crazy to me. Crazy to me. Carl said, gee, it's from people who don't understand the struggle of the wheel. Dak is the epitome using one wheel. I'm going to get back down to Dak here in a moment. I'm going to run through my list real quick. On both failed drives, I want to make sure I mention that. On both failed drives, Mike McCarthy did not run the ball. On both of those failed drives. Both at the end of the game. I mentioned that already. I just want to go down and make sure I check off this. Mike McCarthy. Isn't it strange how Mike McCarthy got creative in the fourth quarter, y'all, on those 2 touchdowns? And then once they got within striking distance, he reverted back to what he was before. Mention that. It doesn't make any sense. And I still don't understand how was Zeke the starter. Mentioned that already. So, I'm going to be back this evening, and I'm going to really get into some X's and O's, the box scores and things like that. Plus, I'm going to look at some more of the talking head stuff, release some videos. But I want to spend the last few minutes here that we have. I want to talk about, someone asked a question on X. Angie said, let Dak throw 100 times, said McCarthy. Stupid, isn't it? Stupid. That man trying to get fired. I'm starting to agree with somebody. That man just ready to go home. He tired of he can't quit coaching, so he tired of Jerry. I may agree with him now, especially after Jerry saying what he said last week about him on the radio. He might just be saying, man, forget this. This dude talking about my play design is bad, and he agreeing with Troy Aikman. I'm out of here, but I can't quit, so I'm gonna make him fire me. So who knows? Carl, he's using a square wheel. No Cap said, how does Henry look great still and Zeke is a shell of himself, not drafted the same year? It's crazy. You know what's up, No Cap? It's the way that Derrick Henry takes care of his body. It's what he puts in his body. It's what he spends on his body. Trains his body. I mean, man, you ever watch some of them Derrick Henry, man? You watch some of them Derrick Henry workouts, man. Boy, this stuff this look like some crazy stuff this dude doing, man. This dude be doing crazy stuff. See, Zeke about that life, man. Zeke is about getting high, having fun. I'm not saying anything bad about Zeke, but I mean, everybody knows Zeke like to smoke. I mean, it's no secret, man. Zeke don't put the work in. I believe that when you are a running back in particular, you have to really put the work in. You have to be very disciplined if you want to last past 5 years as a running back in this league. You have to make sure that you're still really, really good, because typically a running back comes in about 21. He gets to that 25 range. He's in danger if he's not killing it in the league, because that means he's not going to get the big payday or he's not going to get the second contract. So you got to really take care of your body so you get that contract. And then you got to continue to take care of your body so that you You could even parlay that into an extension. Or you could parlay that into if a team decides to let you go, you can still play the game. Because, let me see. What's this guy's name? Let's see. What was his name? Who's the guy? The Cincinnati Bengals. I forgot the name of the running back that they have. Now, if I hadn't brought it up, I'd remember his name. What was the running back? Y'all put it in the chat. The running back that was with the Bengals in 2022, I don't think he's with the team no more. Let me see what his name is. He had nothing but problems. What is this guy's name? Okay, here it is. Let me see if I can pull it up. Joe Mixon. That's his name. Have y'all noticed that Joe Mixon still has a job in the NFL? Because Joe Mixon is a very talented running back. And Joe Mixon is going to continue to be on someone's team because Joe Mixon, for all of the problems that Joe Mixon has off the field, Joe Mixon obviously takes care of his body. And something's not right about Ezekiel Elliott. Zeke was too good to have a fall off like that. There's no way Zeke should have had that kind of fall off. But I think a big part of it is Zeke don't take care of himself. The boys running back won't be a factor to next season. Yep, I agree. When the boys draft a running back with speed and Guyton and BB have a year under their belts and Tyler gets his third year under his belt. You know what, Freddie? See, I'm agreeing with you. I think this is kind of what is going on. I'm a little bit confused because typically you don't try to tank a season to get the best running back in the draft because there's typically enough running backs, especially in the first two rounds, to where you can get a really, really good one. Who knows? Maybe they got their eyes on the guy at Boise State, and they want to try to make sure they get him. So something's going on, though, because it doesn't seem like me they want to win. They got Deuce. I thought he was a speed guy. You know what, Delton? One, I think he's a little too not small, but his stature. He's a little too short for the Cowboys. But number two, what are we expecting? I mean, we're expecting Mike McCarthy to use Deuce Vaughn. I'm sorry, we're expecting way too much. We're expecting way too much. Henry's workout and Dalvin's workout are both look legit to me. Yes, and I think that Dalvin Cook needs to get the ball more. But number two, if we continue to let Zeke be the starting running back, tells me everything we need to know. Tells me everything I need to know. This team don't want to win. And that's coming from Jerry Jones. I refuse to believe Mike McCarthy is this dumb. I refuse to Jay Recruiter, Mixon. I refuse to believe that Mike McCarthy is looking at the tape and saying that Ezekiel Elliott as the RB1 gives us the best chance to win. I refuse to accept that. I refuse to accept it. That's coming from the top. That's not coming from the sideline, y'all. That's not coming from the sideline. And so, for the last few minutes, because I'm gonna get off at about 1, and then I'll be back at around 5. I think I'm gonna move up from 6 and move to 5. But someone asked a question. They said, "Is Dak Prescott regressing?" I don't believe Dak Prescott is regressing. I don't believe he's regressing. I'll tell you what I think we're watching. I believe with Dak Prescott, we are watching a quarterback that has no confidence in his team. That's what we're watching. We're watching Dak Prescott looking at a wide receiver room to where his only bona fide superstar is CD Lamb. And I don't think Dak Prescott is asking for, I don't think I don't think he's asking for a Devontae Adams. But I do think he wants a situation to where he has a competent second receiver that can get some separation. That if CD Lamb is covered, he's competent that this guy can get the ball and he can make plays. I think he's looking at a wide receiver room that he doesn't have confidence in, so Dak doesn't have confidence. I'll tell us something else that I think why Dak Prescott has no confidence. I don't think it's about him. I don't think he has any confidence in that offensive line. Dak Prescott's running for his life. Dak Prescott is running for his life. Not only is he running for his life, he's risking injury every single game. Every single game, Dak is risking injury. That play last night with Bosa, Dak could have easily had broken ribs, bruised ribs. Any of those things. It's not that Dak doesn't have confidence. Dak doesn't have confidence in what's going on around him. And we can say anything we want to, but that affects us. What's going on around us affects us. Even when we're giving it our all, or we're playing hard, or we're wanting to win. But what is going on around you, especially in a team sport? You have to understand, football is the ultimate team sport. That's why I like it so much. It literally requires you to trust the guy next to you, play with the guy next to you, help the guy next to you, know what he's doing, know every man for himself, know hero ball. In order for us to win, we all have to play together from the sideline, from the booth up top to the field. And when we don't have those things, this is not basketball. Do y'all know what Michael Jordan could do when the team wasn't playing well? Michael Jordan could say, move out the way. All I need you to do is when you come up the court, pass me the ball. I'm going to shoot on a double team. I'm going to shoot on a triple team. I'll shoot on the whole team. But if they do triple team me, then I'll throw you an easy shot under the goal. I'll kick it out for an easy three-pointer, and you better make it. But in basketball, you literally get to dictate everything. You can shoot it. You can pass it. You can dribble it. You can do whatever you want to do. And if you want to score, have one of them nights where Kobe or one of these guys like Michael Jordan scores 60 points, Kobe 60 something, whatever. You want to go off like a Larry Bird and have one of the best nights of your life. You can do that as a basketball player because you literally get to have the ball the whole time. And you can just tell people, move it out of the way. Can't do it in football. Can't throw it to yourself. You can't run it every play. You can't block for yourself. You don't get to play defense. In basketball, you even get to play defense if you're a good two-way player. You don't get to play defense in as a quarterback. You are literally at the mercy of the players around you, the plays that are called, and then, of course, your own ability. You can control your own ability. You can control your own decisions. But what you can't control is the coach, and you can't control the players around you. You can influence them. You can tell them you need to be here. You need to be there, all those things. But you can't do it all. And so what I'm seeing with Dak Prescott is it's not Dak regressing. You're watching a man where everyone says because he got $60 million, he ought to be satisfied. You're watching a man that's hiding his misery. Dak Prescott is hiding his misery. How do you think he feels knowing that the coach doesn't have a contract going into next year? None of the coaches have a contract going into next year. All these young players, Your quote unquote GM has already said no trades at the trade deadline. And you're looking at this team and you're knowing your own self. This team needs help. You have no confidence in your GM. I mean, can you really have confidence in this GM/owner? He didn't sign you until the morning before the first game of the season. And even if you knew he was going to sign you, what confidence can you have in him? Because even if he did it as a publicity stunt, so you would rather sacrifice the mentality, the mental fortitude of the team for these publicity stunts of holding out on CD Lamb's contract, holding out on my contract, thinking that me and CD Lamb don't need to be connecting in training camp. I mean, you just took away the chemistry that it took me and CD Lamb an entire season to build, to grow, to trust one another. And this is what you do. We had a team that was crazy good last year, and you couldn't at least say in Mike McCarthy's last year, in my last year, and say, we're going to run it back. We're going to run it back. And Mike, we're not going to extend you. Dak, we're not going to extend you either. We're going to wait until the season is over, and we'll decide what we're going to do. I'm going to tell y'all something. I think Dak would have been fine with that. And I think Dak would have been fine with that, because if you do that and you run that team back and you bring those players back, and then you say, I'm going to even give you a couple of players. I'll give you a Derrick Henry. I'll give you an Hassan Reddick on defense. Now you go out and win. And if you don't win, Mike McCarthy, no contract. Dak Prescott, you get to hit the free agency market. How much y'all bet Dak would have picked that over what he got now? Dak's always betted on himself. He betted on himself through 2 franchise tags. Dak has always betted on himself. Dak was betting on himself this year, coming into training camp with no deal. Dak could have tore a knee at any point in time in this offseason during training camp. Dak could have hurt himself at any given time. What did he do? He bet on himself. He didn't do like CD Lamb. He didn't do like all these other Cowboys who got the bag before him. He came to camp. He sat there through the Trey Lance nonsense. Y'all don't think that Dak was kind of perturbed by the Trey Lance nonsense? That this team spent the entire offseason, the entire training camp, the entire preseason, it was all about, can Trey Lance play? Because if Trey Lance can play, we got our next quarterback. And I guarantee you, if Trey Lance would have lit up that preseason like Dak Prescott lit up that preseason when Tony Romo got hurt, anybody who watched Dak Prescott in the preseason before Tony Romo got hurt, everybody was saying, who's this Dak Prescott kid? This dude is balling in the preseason. Everybody was saying it. Trey Lance ball like Dak Prescott did in the preseason. Dak don't get that extension. I don't believe he gets it. So what we're watching, love it, like it, or admit it, we're not watching the regression of Dak Prescott. We're watching the misery of Dak Prescott. Put yourself in this man's shoes. And you're looking at what you have around you. And even with what you have around you, you're saying, though, you know what? I could deal with what's going on around me. But I also have no confidence in my coach. And why should I? The owner/GM has no confidence in him. He's on a lame duck deal. He's in the last year of his contract, and he didn't bring in no free agents. They didn't bring in no players. And so basically we got to do it with what we have. And so at the end of the day, it doesn't even look like the owner wants him here. And then the play calling, it's atrocious. Do y'all know that Dak Prescott, as much as he's been talking about how much he loves Mike McCarthy and he likes Mike McCarthy and blah, blah, blah. He's also been condemning him at the podium. We need to practice harder. Guys aren't where they're supposed to be. People aren't watching film. They're not watching film when they're away from the facility. That's not on them. That's on the coach. Is the coach saying, I need you to watch film a little bit more? Is the coach saying, you're practicing hard, but you're practicing sloppy? You're practicing hard, because this is Mike McCarthy's word. They practice hard, they need to practice better. What's better? Are they practicing hard, but they're doing the wrong thing? Are they going the wrong way? They're practicing hard, but they're going the wrong way. They're not getting the plays. That's you, Mike McCarthy. We're watching a miserable quarterback. And someone says he got $60 million. Man, let me tell you something. You can have all the money in the world. But if you want to win, you can have all the money in the world and be miserable. Because there's no one to spend it on. There's no one to share it with. You got everything you want but the victory. And someone says, well, if he didn't take that hot contract, if he would have took a $25 million deal and left $35 million a year on the table, the Cowboys could go out there and get some players. They have $23 million now and they're not doing nothing. Don't tell me what the Joneses would be doing if they had $60 million on the book. They would still be doing stupid stuff. They would still be saying Derrick Henry is too expensive. They would still be saying Hassan Reddick is too expensive. They would have still said Amari Cooper is too expensive. Devontae Adams, too expensive. Saquon Barkley, too expensive. And they didn't even really say Derrick Henry was necessarily too expensive. He didn't fit the scheme. You're watching a miserable quarterback. You're not watching regression. You're a dog? And you got a bunch of cats meowing around you? You ever watch how a dog acts? You got a dog and you got a cat around him that you love. Cat playing all around him. And the dog just be sitting there ignoring him like, it's a crying shame. You couldn't have got another dog for me to play with, to hang around with, to fight with, to run with, to rip with. Now you got a cat running around me. Oh, the second pet you got is a parakeet. Third pet is a parakeet. Fourth is a lizard. What a dog gonna do with that? I'm telling y'all, birds of a feather hang together. You don't see Blue Jays hanging around. You don't see them hanging around Cardinals. You don't see Eagles hanging around Hawks. Buzzards. You don't see that stuff. We're watching a miserable quarterback. He has no confidence in his coach. Doesn't have any confidence in his ability to motivate men. He has no confidence in the GM who paid him $60 million, it seems, reluctantly. Y'all not believing me, but Dak Prescott said it. Dak Prescott wants to play for the Cowboys because he loves the team, but he also had come to the conclusion, this is a business, and if I hit the open market, $60 million, I'm getting it regardless. I'm getting it regardless. Makes me wonder now if he's regretting. Y'all don't hear me. Dak Prescott's miserable. Someone says, how can you be miserable with $60 million? Easy. Easy. See, po folks say po things. Sometimes I be in a po mindset. I ain't talking about poor, I'm talking about po. When you po, I'm talking about what the O, you don't even have the OR. See, when you got a po folk mentality, you think like po folk. Whoa, man, boy, if I had $5 million, it would change everything. More money, more problems. when you got money, see, when you don't have money, average things make you feel good. You get a new car, you like, man, I got a new car. You get a new crib, you be like, man, American dream, got a new crib. You get a good job, man, I got a good job. Yeah, man, yeah. But when you rich and you can have any car you want, when you rich, you can have as many cribs as you want. You can have all the women you want. There's only one thing that means something when you got all those things. Now I need a ring. Because a ring makes all of this stuff worth it. Without a ring, do y'all know what Dak Prescott is? Nothing more, nothing less. He's the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. The highest paid player in NFL history. And I don't know about y'all, but if you think in your mind that's enough, I don't want you on my team. I don't want you on my team. I can't play with you because I'm going to slap you upside the head. I can't play with you. I can't play with a person running around saying, well, at least I got the bag. I'm going to fight you. And I'm not condoning violence, but I'm saying this in a sense that I'm going to have problems with you, man. I can't play with a person that gets satisfied by material things in a sport where the goal is winning. I can't do it. You're watching a miserable quarterback and nobody's paying attention. This man is miserable. That's why he's getting married. That's why he's building his family. That's why he's trying to do things off the field so that he don't go crazy. Do y'all know we watch football as an escape? To get away from the politics going on around us, to get away from things going on in our life, with our jobs, with people in our family, enemies, all kinds of stuff. Man, sports it's like a getaway. You get to go and just cheer for a team and have fun with folks watching football, eating, and man, and you feel good when your team winning. Isn't it strange? You're not getting nothing from it. You're not getting any money from it. So if you get something from not getting money and your team winning, what do you think they get when they get money and they don't win? We're not understanding the psychology of stuff. They do things in real life to get away from football, and we get away from real life by watching football. Telling us, watching a miserable quarterback. This man wants to win, but he's looking around him and saying, how do I win? We're watching a quarterback. He's not motivated. And Freddie, we talked about motivation. We do need self-motivation. But what do you do? What do you do? This isn't basketball. What do you do when it seems like the fix is in? Nobody wants to win. You got a lame duck coach. Mention that. No free agency moves. Mention that. No trades coming, knowing full well the team needs trades. Knowing full well that a player would help. Let me ask you a question. How would you perform? How would you perform? Because it's strange to me. People say, oh, if it was me, boy, I'd still be balling out. How? How you going to still ball out when all this is going on around you? We're not watching the regression of Dak Prescott. We are watching the misery of Dak Prescott. That's what we're watching. And in that misery, he's doing boneheaded things. Because he's saying, CeeDee Lamb, they gave him the bag. And my owner, he wants him to touch the ball 15 times. So I got to get him the ball. Even when he's not open. The play's designed to go to him. I got to get him the ball. Wait a minute. The play broke down. Now I got to run, and now I got to make an ill-advised throw. You know what, man? I ain't care. Here, throw it. You catch it, you catch it. You don't. Dak is not dumb as people think he is. We're watching a miserable quarterback. And some folk are so naive, they think that money is the answer to all things. If you think the money is the answer to all things, there is something absolutely wrong with you. And you are the type of person I would never want to be in a foxhole with. I would never want to be in a fight with. And you got to fight with me. And I definitely would not want you on my team. We're watching the misery of Dak Prescott. No Cap says Christian McCaffrey says his dad would pick him up before high school games to get IVs, and we wouldn't let him wear jeans on game days because less weight in his legs. Crazy determination. Freddie says, any word on whether or not Mike McCarthy or Zimmer get fired? Jerry gave us the answer last week. Jerry gave us the answer. That story he told about Wade Phillips being 1-7, he wished he wouldn't have done it. Why would he fire Mike McCarthy at 3-4? Because Jerry is playing a game that nobody else is playing. Because Jerry is saying to the people, and I can't wait to hear his press conference or hear his interviews over the next couple of days, because he's going to be saying we're not out of it yet. Well, it seems to me full well Jerry wants to be out of it. Jerry has a plan that he's obviously not telling anybody. He's not telling anybody. Esquire 1985 said Jerry wants him there. Games be... I'm not going to be surprised, Esquire. I'm just trying to prepare everybody. Jerry is doing this to Mike McCarthy. He's doing this to this team. And whatever mad plan he has, how do you fire Mike McCarthy? And seems like he's either in on it with you, or like someone said earlier, Mike wants to get fired because he's tired of the dumbness. But he knows that if he quit as a coach, the whole world would look at him. You know what? I'll be honest with you. The fan base probably wouldn't even, the fan base say, I wouldn't blame you. If he came out and did a whole tell all on Jerry Jones and how Jerry makes him do this and Jerry tells him he can't do it, boy, I bet you the whole world would be like, shame on Jerry. I don't blame you, Mike. But Mike also knows if he ever did something like that, he'd never be able to show his face in coaching circles again. He'd never be on a team to coach again. They would blackball this man out of football. You'd never see Mike McCarthy again when it comes to football. He's not going to do it. They're fraternity. Sunny Day says, yes, I agree. All these are messing with his confidence. He was in a boot before the season too. Telling us, man, we're watching a miserable man. And I don't know if y'all have ever been here. But sometimes, man, I said this yesterday. I'm a preacher. And one thing I've learned about being a Christian, and if you don't believe in God, that's fine. You can probably still relate in some form or fashion. But sometimes we wear suffering well. We'll be going through stuff. We're not liking a situation, but we know. But I have to do this because this is what I do. It's in me. See, people don't understand. Dak been saying some crazy stuff, man. People not even paying attention to. Dak has been saying over and over and over, I'm just happy to be still playing the game that I love. These football players, we may not understand. Tom Brady played until he was literally, 45? Football be in these guys. And it especially be in the dogs. It's in them. They don't want to give it up. And so, when something is in you, it's like, but this is what I do. This is what I do. I want to quit, but I can't quit. This is what I do. So I got to push on. And I got to pray, hope the situation gets better as I press on, that maybe there's a plan to where this is all going to work. So the only thing I can do at this point is to do what I want to do. Sometimes we're suffering and folk don't even realize it. We're just still pressing on. We're pressing on. And sometimes we're miserable. Don't mean we don't still have joy. It don't mean that we still we're not blessed in certain aspects and we can still function. But at the same time, I've learned sometimes, man, we wear suffering well. I wear it well sometimes. I be going through stuff in my life and people be thinking, man, everything must be going good, man. You know, you looking good, you smelling good, you got this, you got that, man. Man, you doing good. Yeah, but you don't understand something. I'm going through something. People don't understand that. This man is miserable with money. He's miserable with money. You answered the question earlier. That's the problem with the team. No confidence in each other. And Niecy, how can they have confidence? They're looking at this stuff too. They're over there listening to play calls. They watch, and I'm telling you, that's why I'm giving Dak smoke, because Dak changed the momentum of that game in that third quarter with that boneheaded throw. And that defense, it just seemed like it deflated for a moment. Y'all can have the third quarter. Y'all can have the third quarter. Do what you want to do. But then did you notice what happened? They get a touchdown. Defense get cranked right back up. Defense got cranked right back up. Because when that interception puts them in a bad position, because now they got to play from behind. They got that touchdown. They got cranked back up. Got another touchdown. Got cranked back up. The defense is saying, hold on a second. Dak Prescott, fourth quarter throw against the Pittsburgh Steelers with the time. Walk off, fourth quarter touchdown to Tolbert. We got Dak Prescott. Hey, there's a chance. Let's make this stop. Get this ball back in Dak's hand. Dak gonna work magic. Then they looking at the play calls. Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand, man. Dak is supremely talented but he can't do it all. He can't do it all. Freddie said, I saw a live earlier where they were bashing Diggs for going off on a reporter saying that the shows that the boys players don't care about anyone but themselves. Wow, I got to go back and watch that. Yeah, that shows the players, woo, every man for himself, they're basically saying. Oh, I got to find that. Spider-Man says, what's going on, Spider-Man? I see you got a little new logo there. You got that Spider-Man logo. No O-line, no run game, no defense, bad play calling, one receiver, and a coach with the creativity of Elmer Fudd. That's all, folks. I mean, you just spoke truth there, brother. Hey, Spider-Man, church almost over. The second service is to 95. If McCarthy or Zimmer are not let go after yesterday, then at the very least, McCarthy should be replaced as play caller. I said I wouldn't be surprised if they let Brian Schottenheimer take over. But we're going to see if that comes down. We're going to see if that comes down. But if y'all not seeing this, you're not going to see it. This is part of Jerry's plan, man. I've been saying it. Jerry know what he doing. We just don't know what he doing. Jerry know what he doing. Everything we're watching, Jerry know what he doing. Because I don't know about you, but if I'm the owner and we get the brakes beat off of us like we did on, it's my birthday. We at home. Everybody knows it's my birthday. And a team gonna come and hand us our fourth straight loss at home. I don't care if I got to cut the ball boy that night. Somebody getting cut. Somebody getting cut. I don't care who it is. The water girl. Somebody getting cut. Who the towel person? You fired. Somebody getting cut or fired if I'm going to get blew out at home on my birthday. Y'all not watching Jerry's demeanor. Mike ain't going nowhere. Hadn't even considered it. Like the players that we have. Detroit better than us. Where's the fight? Where's the fire? Well, if that's the response from the owner, what do we think the response from the other folk gonna be? I'm telling us, Freddie, Jerry's in on this. Bro, a great practice, that turns into a bad game. No talent on game day. You know what, Spider-Man? I ain't believing nothing they saying about a great practice. I'm not believing it. How do you have a great practice against guys who not even motivated? How do unmotivated folk have a good practice? Who's the judge? Oh, I forgot. We got the GPS system. We're measuring through a GPS system a man's heart. You can't measure a man's heart with a GPS system. You put a GPS system on, he gonna run harder because he's like, oh, they monitor me. Let me make sure I'm giving it full speed while I'm going full speed doing the wrong thing. What? Stupid. This is the problem with all this analytical stuff. It can't measure the heart of a person. Spider-Man said, Michelle says, that's why I hate some of the fans believing that Jones is idiots. These people, and the media plays into this stuff. Come on, man, these ex-football players. There's no way you can tell me you're looking at this and you think that these players are that terrible, the play calling is that inept. All of this stuff is just this team being that bad. That's stupid. They gave that game away last night. They could have went up 17-6 at the half. They went 3 and out. Didn't run the ball. They got 24-30 at the end of the game. It's right there on a silver platter. They run 3 times and don't even run no time off the clock. You cannot tell me. I'm watching plays he called in the fourth quarter, and he gets to the game-winning drive, and then he goes boneheaded again. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. No, I'm not believing it. I'm not believing it. It feels like these Cowboys are playing for clickbait and paychecks instead of football immortality. I don't understand how can they win, though. Because I'm still saying, even with the players, they could have won that game. Zimmer did a masterful job. I'm telling us, there is one person, I don't care what anyone says, does not need to get any heat. Boy, Mike Zimmer, man, y'all better hear me. Mike Zimmer pulled off magic against the 49ers. If Dak don't throw that interception in the third quarter, man, we probably having a different conversation today. Dak gave up 10. I'm thinking Dak gave up 10 points in turnovers. Take away that 10. Tell me what the score is. Cowboys win that game last night. It gave it away. Boneheaded plays. Boneheaded clock management. Just boneheaded nonsense. It's coming from the top down. You're only as smart as the head. You're only as smart as the head. Sonny says Dak was making very little his first several years. Pepperidge Farms remembers. And I'm going to tell you something, Sonny Days. I just think Dak Prescott, y'all would have saw a whole different Dak Prescott had they said you going on that open market. The audition tape that Dak would have put on, it'd have been legendary. It would have been legendary. Now, I understand Dak signing that deal because at the end of the day, you don't want to go off of, well, I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to still get this bag and it's right here in front of my face. I understand him taking that because you get to solidify being in Dallas because he loves the team. You get to go ahead and start. I want to be in Prosper, Texas, it seemed like for the rest of my life. Dak likes that living out here in Texas. I get to go ahead and now make a decision on my whole life. That's why now he's getting married. He's not going to have to be moving around, moving his family around. 4 year guaranteed to be in Dallas, and he'll worry about those other 4 years afterwards. So I'm telling y'all, Dak is here to stay in Dallas. Even if he is gone after this contract, Dak is here to stay in Prosper, Texas. I'll be shocked if he ever leaves Dallas on a permanent basis. Dak loves it here. Sonny says Joneses were not participating in free agent trades, etc. when Dak was making $800,000 a year or $60 million. Doesn't matter. They don't remember that Jerry had Dak on a rookie deal. Folk don't remember that. And still didn't go out there and make any meaningful trades. Still didn't go out there and stack that team up. He did the same thing then he's doing now. He already had them players that were on the team. He went in the draft, and the thing was, he had better players on the team. He had the Travis Fredericks. He had the Zach Martins. He had the Dez Bryants. He had the Jason Witten. See, those players were already on there. So he didn't have to go get no legacy players. Jerry was playing the same way. Now I'll just go get in the draft. Who did he replace DeMarco Murray with? Did he go sign a big-time free agent? Nope. He went and got Ezekiel Elliott in the first round. That's the kind of stuff Jerry was doing. But he had leeway because he had great legacy players. You know what's happened? Jerry has ran out of the legacy players. The only legacy players he has now is Dak, CD, and Micah. Those are going to be his legacy players. But the problem is he don't have enough. Zach Martin is struggling with this line. I mean, he got Terrence Steele to his right. He got BB. BB's a rookie. So even Zach Martin is struggling on this line. So Jerry doesn't have the leeway he once had with those legacy players. And so this is why it's true. It's a soft rebuild. It is, whether anyone admits it or not. Nisi said the Chiefs just traded for a defensive end. You see what those teams that are good do, Nisi? They try to get better. But guess what? Patrick Mahomes didn't make that decision. How much you bet Andy Reid didn't make that decision? Not by himself. They got a GM who continues to monitor what the team needs, monitors what's out there. And if he can bring someone in to make a team that's already good better, he's going to bring them in. Because right now, I mean, what are the Chiefs now? 7-0? And we thought that the Baltimore Ravens may be good enough to beat them. Wait a minute. The Cleveland Browns beat the Baltimore Ravens. And I know it's a divisional game, but Jameis Winston balled out. Jameis Winston exposed them. Not only exposed them, but exposed Deshaun Watson. I'll be honest with you. I just think the Cleveland Browns, I just think they need to cut their losses with Deshaun Watson. Eat that contract. Find a way to eat it. Convert it into a signing bonus. Eat that contract. Let Jameis Winston be the quarterback and get you a quarterback in the draft. But this is about the Dallas Cowboys. But I'm telling us, the teams out there who have great GMs, good GMs, ownership that stays out of the football business, let their coaches coach. They're being ran very well from the personnel standpoint. And we got a personnel problem. And now it's starting to bleed over into the confidence of the team. It's sad his dream is of playing for his favorite team, but turning miserable because of the way the organization is ran. People can say what they want to say, but I'm telling us, man, we're watching a miserable quarterback. That's what Funny called making bricks with no straw. Yep. Put Dak on the Lions. I bet he win a Super Bowl. We saw what happened to Matthew Stafford when they put him on the Los Angeles Rams. Got him a Super Bowl, didn't he? Put players around him. Got him a Super Bowl. Michelle says, okay, that was Michelle said that, yes. Halftime adjustments has been a problem for us all year. It's been a problem for Mike McCarthy the whole time he's been in Dallas, Spider-Man. Whole time he been in Dallas. Nancy says the fight is with the head coach, vice president of player personnel, and GM. Man, they playing some weird games right now. They playing some weird games. I'm like wondering, like right now, you ever seen somebody they hate their job so much they start saying, they just saying, I'm gonna do this and I bet you I still won't get fired. I mean, Mike McCarthy right now, I think Mike McCarthy has been let in on the plan. Mike, we're gonna let you finish out the season. We don't really want you to win. Something is being said because this whole situation stinks. Something is not right. It is sad that great quarterbacks can elevate the players around them, but you have to surround them with players that want to be elevated. Man, 52 brands. Every man for himself right now. Nisi says, Michelle, you are so right. Any team that will surround him with what he needs and a good coach, that's about winning in football. I told somebody yesterday, I said, the tragedy of Dak Prescott may be something that we have to face. That a quarterback with Dak's mentality and his skill may never get the opportunity to have a coach like a Andy Reid, a Kyle Shanahan, a defensive coordinator like a Steve Spagnuolo, just surrounded with great players. People don't understand. That was a time when even Patrick Mahomes was surrounded with players. I mean, Travis Kelce, ever since he started dating Taylor Swift, I mean, I don't know what done happened to him. He done fell off the boat. But they're still putting some good players around Patrick Mahomes. I don't think Dak will ever see that. Do y'all understand for Matthew Stafford to be in the prime of his career and to go to the Rams and they put an absolute super team around him? Man, he got an opportunity that Dak Prescott's probably never going to get. I don't know, man. I don't know about y'all, but that right there, boy, that's disheartening. But he got to keep playing. I thought the defense did a great job. Then I looked at the stats, 469 total yards for 220 yards. You know what? Sometimes the box score is not the full story. We'll talk about that this evening. It's not the full story. It's the third quarter when they broke loose. But if Dak don't throw that interception, I don't think they break loose like that. If Mike McCarthy continues to run the ball, they don't break loose like that. Because how do you have that type of yardage on you and you still are in position to win the game? Man, Mike Zimmer, he ain't getting no hate from me. He ain't getting no hate. Mike Zimmer did his job. Mike Zimmer did his job on them boys. And Mike Zimmer put them in a situation to where if they get that touchdown at the half, man, if they get that touchdown and make it, if they get a field goal, make it 13-3. Boy, Mike Zimmer bring that defense out. That defense come out with confidence. That defense playing different in that second half. Dak deflated them with that interception. Remember, Jerry said he would hate to win a Super Bowl without Romo. That's why he won't build a Super Bowl with a team. Boy, Jerry had a special love for that boy, Tony Romo. He loved Tony Romo. Tony Romo was like a son. He was going to his grandson's football games. That Tony Romo was different. See, Dak won't do that. Dak likes to keep the business, and the football. Gene Ward said, remember when Zeke and Dakota came into the league and the running game we had didn't have a great defense but had a great running game, plus had a lot of wins? And remember what I said, Gene? They had a legacy team. Dez Bryant, dog, on that team. Jason Witten, dog, on that team. Travis Frederick, dog, on that team. Zach Morton, dog, on that team. Boy, they had some, Tyron Smith, dog, on that team. They had dogs on that team, man. They had dogs on that team. So what Jerry was doing could work. Oh, okay, we'll just get rid of DeMarco Murray. We're bringing Ezekiel Elliott. Do y'all know Ezekiel Elliott was supposed to be the answer for Tony Romo winning that Super Bowl? The year that Dak took over, they thought that was going to be a Super Bowl run for Tony Romo. Because remember that previous season, they cheated the Cowboys with the catch against the Green Bay Packers. But they didn't want to run. They didn't want to pay DeMarco Murray. And for good reason. They ran him in the ground. Y'all remember he almost got 2,000 yards? The Cowboys ran him into the ground. And they were like, no, we're not going to pay him because we know he's not going to come back the same the next season. And when he went to the Philadelphia Eagles, he wasn't the same. But he also wasn't behind that offensive line. So who came in? Zeke was supposed to be Tony Romo's Super Bowl. Football gods had other plans, didn't they? Tony Romo winds up breaking his tailbone. And y'all got to ask yourself, Tony Romo broke that tailbone in preseason. Just makes me wonder, why would Tony Romo really be playing in the preseason? I can tell you one thing. Part of that motivation might have been, I'm telling y'all, C.J. Stroud, now Jason Daniels, they were not the first ones. Go back and look at Dak Prescott's rookie season. He killed it. He killed it. And for the same reason they're killing it. C.J. Stroud, they put him on a team that was getting towards they were getting to the prime part of the rebuild. They got the right coach. They had some players around him. C.J. Stroud, he's already a good quarterback. He comes in, he's winning. Daniels, Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn's a good coach. A good coach. Has his quirks too, but he's a good coach. Changes the culture in Washington. Plethora of draft picks. Trades, some control, gets Jaden Daniels, who arguably, I wonder if Chicago is looking at Jaden Daniels going, we messed up again. Y'all do know that they actually could have got Patrick Mahomes. They could have got Patrick Mahomes. Now, they chose Caleb Williams, who is good. But Jaden Daniels, there was a lot of people already saying that they thought Jaden Daniels was the best quarterback in the draft, and look at what's happening. But nevertheless, Jaden Daniels, they've surrounded him with players, and in particular, a running game. Not to mention, he's a running quarterback. So, I'm telling us. But now, Dak Prescott finds himself on the opposite end of that discussion. He's the quarterback. He's the legacy player. But unfortunately, we don't have the legacy players around him anymore. You don't have the legacy players. Now he's on the end. He's the legacy player. And now they got to try to build around him. And I'll be honest with you. Y'all better ask somebody. I don't know if they're actually even building around Dak Prescott. They may start building up a team so that when Dak Prescott hits that 5th year, which is the 4th year on the new deal, guys who they draft next year, guys who they draft the year after that, and then Jerry gets a quarterback to be on the bench behind Dak, maybe that 2nd year of that 4-year deal. That quarterback will be the quarterback who will have those players that Jerry has drafted, unless Dak Prescott is having such an amazing 4-year run, and then maybe Dak says, well, I still want to play for the Cowboys, so now I'll play for half the money. Who's to say he's building this team around Dak Prescott? Telling us, this is crazy what's going on with the Cowboys. Maybe broke his tailbone like Rico Dowdle was sick. Man. Nisi says, why people still blaming Dak for Romo playing with a hurt back and sliding, knowing he couldn't run? He saw Dak then. I'm telling you, he felt that heat. I'm telling you, people were talking about Dak in the preseason. He felt that heat. Should have never been out there. Everybody know that Romo was injury-ridden. Should have never been out there in the preseason. Nisi said Dowdle's sick with the flu, but he's signing autographs with no mask. The politics is real. Yeah, he had the flu, all right. Yeah, he flew out to the game. I mean, think about it. He got the flu, but he flew to San Francisco. Oh, that's the flu he got. Because if I got the flu, why am I flying him out to be around the whole team? Why am I flying him out? Hey, you know what, Rico? You got the flu, man. Go ahead and stay home. You sit this one out. Stay in Dallas. We'll see you next week. None of this stuff makes sense. None of it makes sense. But that's going to do it for me. We're going to be back. I'm going to start doing a noon show. I'm gonna kind of see what the difference is between the noon show and the evening show as we start solidifying some things going into November and then December. So I'll be running 2 shows a week here for the next week or two, just kind of looking at the analytics between the two. So I'll be back today around 5 p.m. I'll send out a notification to let everyone know when I'll be back. But appreciate y'all rocking with me this morning and into the afternoon. We will, like I said, I'll be back at 5 o'clock. If you like this, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video on Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Peace. What's going on, James?